Hey there, everybody. Welcome to our preview for Silo Season 1, Episode 5, The Janitor's Boy. This episode, by the time we get to the end of it, we are at the halfway point of this season. We are
Wow.
slowly descending into the silo and getting all the secrets. We really don't know that many of them at the moment.
No, there's a lot of balls up in the air right now. I mean, who killed the mayor? What happened to Deputy Marnes? I mean, there is a lot that is up in the air right now.
Okay, so we are going to dive into everything that we know about this episode. For those of you who are unaware, Apple TV Plus, they do not put out promos in the way a lot of other people do, much to everyone's great chagrin. But
Yeah, so if you're looking for a promo, it doesn't exist. It's not out there. But what we are able to bring you is everything we do know about the episode that is out there, including a synopsis for the episode that has some very interesting details in it.
yeah, it does. Then also hit that subscribe button now to stay up to date with all of our Silo coverage. We just did a review for episode 4 where we go into Marnes is down bad, like really, really bad at this
Yeah.
point. We get into that. We get into everything with Juliette and Holston and her discovery. Like, that's a really fun discussion. We suggest you check that out. So hit that subscribe button as well so you don't miss anything moving forward.
Okay, in our review, we started to come together with some clues of what is happening and who it is that might be behind Mayor Johns's death. And because it wasn't a coincidence that
Yeah.
Bernard ended up being put in that spot as the acting mayor until there's an election. I'm like, oh, look who came out on top on that, Bernard. You were one of the people that when they were going down the silo, Mayor Ruth stopped and spoke to you. So there was a couple of people on the way down that could have, poisoned her water. I'm really leaning in the direction that it's him because he's the person who has benefited the most. But it all feels like it's coming back to the judge. Like
Yeah.
the judge wanted Billings to be put in as the sheriff. The judge has not gotten what she wants right now. However,
Yeah.
now all of a sudden, the mayor that put in Juliette, gone. Now she's got Bernard in there, someone that, she may seemingly have a good relationship with. Things starting to look good for the judge, aren't they? Then we've got this synopsis where we learned that Sims is going to end up putting in Billings, her choice for sheriff, as the deputy. Oh, look, things all working out for you, judge.
There's so many things to think about here because okay, what happened to Marnes if this is all going
Right?
like okay, is he just like incapacitated? I'm not willing to say that he is like 100% just like dead and gone at this point because there's you guys are killing off so many people that if you off Marnes as well, the end of this finale is just gonna be like
Just Bernard
Bernard's just like
sitting in the office by himself.
yeah, it's like that's not we want a season 2 of this, so you guys can't kill off every single person on the show. But maybe he's just on leave. But the unfortunate thing about being on leave is maybe he's like hurt to some extent where they're just like, we don't think you can really do your job anymore. I don't know who that is who's saying that, but it's just like they may be finding a way to force Marnes out and then bring in somebody else to take over that spot, and then they have a much greater sense of authoritative control, and this is sort of alluded to in the synopsis as well, of Juliette as Juliette tries to investigate, these mysterious deaths. Like, they want to know what's going on, what she knows, when she knows it. And my question is, why do you people think she's gonna tell you? Like, how much are you gonna really surveil her?
Yeah, I mean, we saw the end of the last episode where Marnes was being attacked, and, we didn't see him die or
Yeah.
anything like that. But it's possible that he's being forced either into retirement faster because he had already was talking about that anyways. But I mean, now that the mayor is dead, he's right in there. So, it's not surprising that somebody came at the end of the episode to basically be like, we're going to have to take care of this one way or another. So is he dead? Is he forced into retirement? Have they sort of stopped him in some other way where they've incapacitated him or hurt him enough that he's on some sort of a bed rest where Judge Meadows can put in whoever she wishes, which is her choice from the beginning, Billings. Who is this guy?
Apparently Billings is the greatest investigator / authority figure of all time. Like they could go outside the silo, live, establish their own society, and like take over the world with the way they're being hyped up here by Meadows. But okay, here's what's gonna happen with Marnes. I have read into the future.
Oh, here we go.
Everybody. We cover Yellow Jackets here at the channel. I am Lottie when it comes to Silo. Okay, maybe I don't want to be Lottie, but you know what? We're rolling with this right now. It's telling me that Marnes is going to be in a hospital, and there's going to be a guard stationed outside that room, and, Juliette's going to walk up to that room because, she's going to want to know what happened, and this guard's going to be like, I don't think Marnes is in a good enough spot to really talk to you. I think you're going to have...
Sounds like you're Greg from Succession.
I think you
crossover
need
here.
to, I'm not trying to fire you. You guys are great, but I don't even think I've done
Pretty good.
Why have I figured out a Greg impression like 2 episodes before the end of Succession? What have I been doing with my life? Now, I think that they're going to keep Juliette from talking with Marnes if Marnes is still alive. However, they're going to figure out a way to do that.
No, the thing that I'm really looking forward to with this episode is getting to know Billings. Like, what is it about this person? Are they just sort of like a yes person for the judge? That's what my assumption has been all this time, that the judge just wants people in place to benefit whatever the judge wants. Just got Bernard in place as the mayor right now, and he's seemingly doing what it is that she wants because he was trying to push Billings in there too. What is it about Billings that the judge needs this person to be in the top spot? And sort of what is the bigger plot of all of this? Is it to sort of hide what was happening with George? But really what I think the judge's purpose is I think she's the outside person. Mm-hmm. We've talked sort of a little bit about this over on our Patreon about, what's happened to Allison and Holston. Are they still alive? Are they not alive? What's going on outside the silo? And in general, I just think that there's somebody outside that is, watching the silo. The silo is something, whether it's an experiment or whatever's going on, but they have to have somebody on the inside to plug the holes as the silo starts to leak. And, obviously the silo is starting to leak. They've had Allison go out. They've had Holston go out. George has, been, whatever, taken things into his own hands.
Yeah.
There's too many holes in the silo right now. And I think that the judge is the inside person who's like, okay, you know what? We need to get in somebody that I trust as the mayor who can just get things running really smoothly again. We need to get in somebody who's not going to be searching into these things. Juliette is not that person. Billings needs to get in there.
This is the thing that I agree. It makes the most sense that if somebody is going to be sort of having control of the larger silo, it's going to be a judge, somebody who has kind of withstood generations and
has power.
Yeah, it has this like quote unquote objective position where they sort of seem like they're not trying to influence politics all the time, when in reality they very well can. Now there's a very specific part of me. This tinfoil hat Matt is entering the chat here
okay,
for
all
a moment.
Let's go with our tinfoil hats.
This is the part of me that I think is the most intrigued because, listen, guys, I watch a lot of like 7 to 10 episode murder mystery shows right now. Like, I am one of the 5 people currently watching Saint X over on Hulu, and I am also watching The Last Thing He Told Me, which is also on Apple, which is very good, that just ended. But like, through watching all of these shows, I didn't even go all the way back to like The Killing. I remember how upset that show made people, but like,
yes, it did.
One of the things that we've all learned from watching all these sometimes is that you think you have the answer, and then it turns out that it's not even the answer just that you have wrong, but it's also the entire build up to it, the entire motive to it. And like, everything makes sense until it doesn't. I would be so curious, and I'm probably going to take a gigantic L on this. I'm just going to throw this out there right now. But what if we don't know anything? Like, what if we don't actually know at all?
Okay, then the show is like dropping the ball. Then we're going into episode 5.
Well, I think this stuff matters. Like, I think it's all important, and I think it's setting up something else that's going to pay off in the long term. But what if there's a very different reason behind Mayor Johns' death, and perhaps we even really know that these people are all collectively, like, really, really benefiting from it, but maybe they just stumbled into a little bit of luck, and they're sort of hitting the ground running, and then the real reason for the murder of Mayor Johns' death is maybe they figured out another secret about the inner workings of the silo, a way for everybody to get out, a way for some new resource that's going to come up that's not going to benefit everybody. I think there's a lot
that little tunnel that George found.
There is a lot of potential to go down a completely different route, still validate what we've seen so far, but really just make us feel like this show has been tricking us. And this is a very delicate thing to do, because you can make us really, really mad if you do this. But if you do it really, really well, we will just be like, blah.
Yeah, no, there are shows that have done it very well that don't make you feel like you're getting clowned at the end of it, where it's like, okay, there's no way that we would have been able to figure this out. And I think audiences want to have some kind of a chance to really dig into the clues. You know, they don't have to give us a lot of clues, but enough that we can figure it out if we really took the time. People want people talking about the shows. You don't want it to be some situation where at the end it's like, oh, our narrator's been unreliable this whole time, you know, ha 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 ha, and where we're like, cool, thanks. I feel like an idiot.
No, you can't Mr. Robot the situation. There's a way to do it that I think is more interesting. But I think in general, in episode 5, we're probably going to learn, obviously, what happened to Marnes. I think we'll understand, as you went into a little bit earlier, a little bit more about what makes Billings so valuable. And we're going to get some pieces, but this is a 10-episode season, so they're not going to give us everything, everybody. If you have that expectation, you're going to be disappointed.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, let us know your thoughts, your theories on episode 5 of Silo Season 1 in the comments, and hit that subscribe button. Check out our full review of episode 4, and we'll see you here next time.